It's time to start Dishin Days with your hosts Tony Moore, Michael Mattis, Justin Lee Harold, and Araceli Avalos. And now, let's dish. Well, hello, everybody. Happy Sunday. Welcome to Dishin Days, where we're serving up a full dish of this week's episodes of Peacock's exclusive #1 award-winning hit soap opera, Days of Our Lives. And if you haven't already, make sure you're liking us, subscribing us, and follow us on all social media platforms. We are Dishin Days Show on Facebook, Dishin Days on Instagram, and Twitter. I forget sometimes that they're both the same, and I always stumble over it. But it's okay.
We have to do an update to this, don't we? Now we're on the new one.
Oh, and now we have reluctantly joined the ever so popular Threads under the same name, Dishin Days. There are not that many posts because I have yet to figure it out. But we are keeping up with technology. So find us over there if you have found your way there too. And if you guys are watching us live and you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure you click that little subscribe button and hit that bell notification so that way you'll never miss our lovely, beautiful, smiling faces. And if you're listening to us on your favorite podcast station, make sure you click those too. You can find us on Dishin Days on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio so that you can take us along that long road trip, or when you're pumping iron, you can listen to all the shenanigans that have been happening in Salem. And because there's always many. And of course, make sure you buy our merch. Yes, we have some wonderful merchandise, such as our Meliswin Possess Dishin Days logo, or serving up a full dish. That way, when you're on the beach or you're just walking through the mall or having a quiet moment in some hidden area of a park, you can show everyone that you are Dishin Days' #1 fan. And we would greatly appreciate that. And also make sure you show some love to our former co-host and my chocolate twin, James Lott Jr., who is serving up a dish of his own with all the remaining soap operas such as General Hospital, Young and the Restless, and Bold and the Beautiful, including some very own original audio dramas. So head on over to JLJ Media on the YouTube and subscribe to him and tell him that the kind folks at Dishin Days sent you.
And wow, he'll say thank you and send you back. No, just kidding.
Well, everyone, we are starting today's show just a little bit differently because we have a very, very, very special guest with us today. She might have escaped the hospital, but we have located her just so she can tell us about everything according to all the shenanigans that she's pulled in good old Salem.
You know her
as she has resurfaced. Thank you. That's a great way to put it. You know her as Megan Hathaway, but we love her as Megan DiMera. Please help us welcome Miranda Wilson, everybody.
There she is.
Miranda, how are you?
I am very well, thank you. How y'all doing over there in California?
We are doing great. We are so happy to get a chance to talk to you because, man, what a whirlwind the Megan DiMera has caused in good old sleepy town of Salem.
Last I checked, Salem's not really been sleepy for a long time. Just be vague.
I like to present it that way, but no, it's really not.
Not really.
There's always something happening. Well, the last time we talked to you, we were talking about Beyond Salem and the return of Megan Hathaway. What was it like returning and continuing on with the story and Megan in we always call it the main show because, like, you know, Beyond Salem was its own entity. We saw that for 5 episodes, and now you're back on the mothership. What was it like returning to the mothership of Days of Our Lives and knowing the storyline that was going to unfold?
Fantastic. I absolutely loved having the opportunity to come back home.
Yeah.
You know, Days of Our Lives was my first professional job in Los Angeles as an actress. So it's always held a special place in my heart. And I actually really enjoyed the storyline idea of bringing Bo back, bringing Peter back as Bo.
Yeah.
I didn't really know how it was going to unfold. I certainly didn't know how it was going to end.
Yeah.
But having done Beyond Salem, I was just super thrilled about the writers and how they managed to write for Megan and the way that they brought her alive again. So I was just all in and very excited to come back.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
You mentioned it being like home. Like what the feeling you got, describe it for me or us when like maybe last year when you first pulled into the lot, because I think it's in the same lot that it was years ago, or was it different? It's different. Okay.
It's not. So when I was on Days of Our Lives, it was still in Sunset Gower Studios.
Oh, interesting.
So completely different.
Very different.
It wasn't the pulling into the set. It wasn't the walking in. It wasn't any of the physical surroundings. It was the people. It was the ambiance, let's say, the atmosphere that was actually Days of Our Lives.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's hard to explain because it really had more to do with coming home to the mothership, coming home to the work, coming home, to what I knew as a young new actress in town.
Yeah.
Miranda, can I ask? We know the transition from Beyond Salem to Mothership, Days of Our Lives. How much actually did they share with you? I mean, I knew you probably knew the Bo and Hope stuff, but how much did you know beyond that? Did you know the scenes with Kristen in Statesville? Did you know that Dimitri would be your son?
No. So no. So when I was first, the way it works is I get scripts. They don't say to me, "This is what we're going to do. What do you think?" They're like, "You want to come back for a few more episodes?" Sure. How many can you do? Well, maybe this many. And then I just start getting scripts. That was it. So I just
and that's what you do.
I knew nothing about ending up in Statesville at all. I had no idea that Bo was going to go rogue. I knew none of that. I just knew that I had the orchid and that the three women had been kept alive by me. And that's it. And then as it unfolded, I found out more.
Yeah. I imagine reading the scripts is kind of like reading a book or like a novel. Like you're just finding out the story as you're reading along. So for you, when you receive the scripts and each week you're like, oh, okay, like what was your reaction to everything and what Megan was kind of plotting and her goal?
Yeah. Where do I start?
Like what was your big, if you had a moment where, like Tony said, you were reading the script, did you have one particular moment where you read something or got through a script and you were like, you just were wowed or kind of maybe overwhelmed's not the right answer, but just like, wow, they're really taking this far, or they're really taking this in that direction, like something you were really shocked by, surprised by, or wowed by in particular?
Well, yes. I mean, all right, let me back up.
That was a loaded question.
In the first instance, when I first started reading the scripts, I was surprised about where the story started. After Beyond Salem, I had imagined it was going to pick up at the end of Beyond Salem, and we would be having scenes with Bo and Megan, and that sort of her trying to get him to love her again, and maybe it didn't, and maybe it did work, and I don't know. But all of that, which I had thought was going to be part of the story, ended up happening off camera. So my first response to the script was, oh, okay, gosh, we're jumping in really far down the line here, but okay, here we go. So then I thought it was going to go into, she's got this soldier in Bo who is very obedient, and that's not satisfying. And then it wasn't quite that either. And so just the whole way that all of that unfolded was in and of itself quite surprising and oh, okay then. I love the bit where we got to the scene with Megan and Beau, and he ends up injecting her after that little tussle.
Yeah.
That was beautiful. And to be fair, I also really enjoyed the dialogue, some of the dialogue I had with Kate and, with the ladies. So there's a lot of stuff. This is the thing. It's interesting because the way the storyline went is not what I expected.
Right.
And maybe not even exactly what I would have wanted or would have done.
Mm-hmm.
But within all of that, there was some delicious, fun, interesting writing. I love loads of lines that Megan had. There were just so many one-liners that I absolutely enjoyed saying. And then she got arrested, and I thought, oh, well, that wasn't very satisfying. Well, that wasn't what I was hoping for. And that's the thing, though. I was wanting Megan to come back and be strong and kind of rule the world.
Yeah.
Right.
Kind of like Megan herself wants.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, that didn't happen. It probably never will happen, no matter how many times she might try in the future
When she tried
given
it.
the chance.
Mm-hmm.
What?
And she tried it.
Yeah, and she tried it. So, but it's always a pleasure to create something out of what one's given.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's really the fun of it.
Yeah.
I did find out just before I left England to go over to start filming, they asked me if I would stay then for an additional few weeks and do another storyline arc to introduce a son that Megan had.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And so I knew that was coming, but that was it. That was all I knew.
Yeah.
So I didn't know why or what or any of this
So
stuff.
do you feel like they were strategic? You said it wasn't until you got over here. Do you feel like that was a strategic timing request? Like you're like,
No.
Or
No,
were you?
it was literally like 2 or 3 days before I left here to go
Oh,
to LA. So it was a bit of a reassessment because that meant I was going to be much longer than I had originally planned. So I had a lot of things I had to put in place with my work here. And it was a bit of a, okay, we can do this.
Was that very jarring for you? Because in Beyond Salem, you were at least you got to play with Christian Alfonso, and so that's familiar territory for you. Coming back onto the canvas, onto the Mothership show, you have to play with all of these people who maybe you had in passing and didn't have direct scenes with, and then there's a whole slew of younger generation. They tell you you have a son that you have to play with. Was that very jarring for you to, portray Megan and quite literally a whole new role as a mother?
I don't think jarring is the right word. So Marlena, I had worked with originally, Deidre and I had worked together we'd had a number of scenes together when I was originally on the show. So that was beautiful and lovely. She was warm and welcoming. Kate and Kayla I hadn't worked with, but it doesn't matter. Do you know what I mean? It's like we're actors. We show up, we say hi to each other, we fall into our characters, and we start working. It was beautiful. And I think the same goes for having a son. It was an interesting twist for me to have a son, to be a mother. It was interesting for me to try and put that together with this obsession with Beau. Where does that fit in? And how is it that my son is the most important person in my life, and yet I've still got this ancient burning desire to be with someone I haven't seen for 38 years. But it's, one just sort of takes that on board and weaves it all in together. And I felt like the way that Megan was a mother to Dimitri fit the character as we had built her already. She was a bit obsessive in that as well, which is what I was trying to do with the character, and I feel like it came across.
Yeah.
For sure.
I feel like it was nice to have more depth to Megan,
Absolutely.
because the character has always been centered around Bo and Hope, and even reintroducing her in Beyond Salem, it was still about Bo and Hope. So to kind of add more layers to her this go around, I enjoyed it because I feel like we got to know a little bit more about her, maybe even what the past 38 years might have been for her. So it was it was interesting though because with the plots that Megan had as far as reclaiming the DiMera name and getting a share of that, but then also the son having a share of wealth as well. The first thing I started wondering is, what does Megan have planned for all of this money that she's because she's pulling from this pot, she's pulling from this pot. I was like, what is the ultimate goal for
Girl,
Megan?
I totally asked the same question.
Yeah.
What do they have in mind for Megan to do with this massive inheritance?
Yeah.
It's got to
Taking
pay off
over
that
the
submarine
world.
somehow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like, but on the other hand, did she get it? I don't know. Does Dimitri get his inheritance? Who knows? I don't know that.
Yeah,
No.
it's still
We don't know that yet either. Yeah.
I mean, it's,
no, I agree. That's what I'm saying. But even I, the actress, don't know.
Yeah.
Even I don't know what's going to happen. But this is the thing. It felt to me like there was a lot of grandiose plotting and planning.
mm-hmm.
And I wonder if any of it's going to come to fruition. I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of the fans were saying what I felt as well, is that the relationship between Kristen and Megan was just gorgeous.
Yes.
Stacey and I worked together so beautifully, and there was such a loveliness to that, and ease and humor, and just beautiful. And having two strong women together on camera is amazing. It's like, why don't we do that more?
Mm-hmm.
And I had really hoped that was going to be the direction we went, that Kristen was going to come in on whatever taking over the world plot or plans that Megan had, and we'd go down that road.
Yeah.
And that didn't happen. So I don't know. Does anybody else's plans ever work out, or was it all talk? I don't know.
I mean, it's Salem, so it's kind of like sometimes the plan seems like it's working, and then boom, it all like unfolds. Right. I mean, right. so far, Dimitri landing Gwen is working out. Although Friday had quite an interesting twist with Dimitri kissing Leo. So now we're back to like, well, is this plan going to work out? So
yeah,
you just never know.
Yeah.
We have a couple of fan questions from Twitter, and Debbie Bright from Twitter wanted to know if you could bring back another character apart from Stefano and Bo. Who would you like to see back on the show to share scenes with?
Well, if we can talk about someone who hasn't been killed.
But are they killed?
It's Salem. They'll come back.
Hasn't been deadified.
Yeah.
Undeaded. Unlived. I would say Eduardo. Is that what his name was? A. Martinez?
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that what his character's name was? I would say he would be a great match.
That could be
partner for Megan. I think the two of them could really be dastardly and wonderful together.
Ooh.
That would be one idea. I don't know anything about Lexi other than she's my sister. But I've had some fans say that would be interesting. Vivian's back, which again, I know Louise Sorrell. I don't know the character. Megan and Vivian together might be a fun.
Yeah.
room
They
full
could
of
give
fire.
each other a run for their money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, she would have something to say about you ordering a hit on her son. So
Was Stefan her son?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So that would be very interesting.
Yeah.
Y'all
Okay.
wouldn't be friends. Let's just say that.
No matter what, we wouldn't be friends. I'm with you.
Yeah.
I don't need her to be my friend. If we could have some fireworks scenes together, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Kristen could be my friend. She could be my enemy. I don't mind. Anyway,
Uh,
yeah.
Well, you can always go back and forth. I mean, that's
Yeah.
how relationships are in Salem. It's like
Especially the
it's almost
DiMeras,
like, it's like one day you're in and the next day you're out.
Yeah.
So
Well, like now Stefan and EJ and Kristen are all best buddies because they decided to hate Megan.
yeah, right.
Unites people like a common enemy. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. You never know what happens when you get people in a room together. Years ago, there was a scene where all of Victor Kiriakis's exes were put together in one room.
Yes.
Okay.
And I can just, if I could imagine the opposite end of the spectrum with all of the mothers of Stefano's children.
Oh, that's interesting. My mother's dead, apparently, but
yeah.
maybe it's
Never know. Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have another question from Fitz and Live Love on Twitter, who wants to know, what was your favorite scene shooting on Days besides the Megan and Kristen scenes?
What was my favorite? I think it was the day that I basically stopped her from telling Brady about Bo and convinced her that us working together would be far more potent and interesting. That was it was a great day to shoot. It was a great day. It was a great dynamic between us. We really had a lot of energy and zhuzh, and that was lovely.
Nice.
I tell you, our favorite line right now is from the engagement party, as you're welcoming everyone, and then the Harris Michaels, what are you doing here?
Oh my God, Harris Michaels!
We got so much out of that. Yeah,
it was a moment of, I'm going to act surprised, but I knew he was coming. So look, everyone, I had no idea.
It's funny because on social media, there are people going, oh my God, that was hilarious.
Yeah.
They got the joke.
Yeah.
There's this whole other swathe of people going, oh, she's such a bad actress. That was so
Right.
Right? Like all of a sudden, for like 5 lines, I turned into a bad actress.
Right.
Yes.
Completely
No, it was very like I took it as that was just very Megan. That was so in character, but it was somewhat unexpected too, and it cracked me up. And I feel like I was probably watching it late at night, and I texted the group. And I was like, I think I'm gonna do that at parties now. Just in the middle of the party, I'm just gonna stop and be like, oh my God, Harris, Mike, and no one will get it, but I will, and that's what. It was such an inspired moment.
I feel like we have to do that to each other. Like whenever we see each other like out at parties or something, we just have to stop and in the middle of where we are, just go, oh, Harris Michael. And that's not our name, but we'll get to it. We'll
make it a thing. Yeah. Speaking of social media, how have you enjoyed that new aspect of what we call soap Twitter? Of engaging with the fans in that way. You get to see an immediate reaction in a way you didn't when you were first on the show.
Well, okay, I love it on the one hand. And it's also like, the weird thing to me is when people send me messages saying, are you the real Miranda Wilson? I'm thinking, but are there actually fake Miranda Wilsons? I mean, okay, I can get a fake Johnny Depp. That makes sense. Or, I can understand there might be a fake Beyonce, but I don't think there are any fake Miranda Wilsons. And did you do any research before you bothered me with that question? So sorry. I know I'm sounding snarky, but this is happening a lot.
Oh,
and it's
okay.
just getting on my nerves.
Mhm.
Do your research, folks. Anyway, other than that, it's fascinating that people get angry at other people for liking or hating a character.
Mhm.
Oh yeah,
Why?
yeah, yeah.
That's a universal question. Yes.
Exactly. But the worst thing is when people say, "Oh, that actress, I hate her," et cetera, and they talk about the actress as if,
Make it personal,
I don't know,
Like you're not
why?
a person, you know,
Yeah.
like you don't have feelings, and you were just, you know, booked to do a job, and you're trying to do your best.
Exactly. If you hate
Yeah.
the character, then guess who did a good job?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yes.
the separation of character and actor is always
Yeah.
an issue with some of
It's
the
blurred.
fandom. Yeah.
Yeah. Those are the people we pay no attention to. That's what the block button was invented for.
Yes, yes.
We try to every now and then we get a little pressed, and either Tony or myself will, mostly Tony. Sometimes I'll chime in, but Tony comes in as the defense and is like, if y'all don't like it, don't if y'all do,
Bye-bye.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm a Capricorn through and through. We hold stuff in until we can't hold it in anymore, and it's like, you know, there are times where I'll see comments and I'll just let it slide one day, and then there are times where I go, I have time today, and I just go back into it. But you know, but here we've always been fans with open arms, as we always like to put it, and we, you know, there are times where we go, you know, but we go along for the ride because, you know, we know there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes that could happen, and then it took so much to get to that final script, that shooting, that thing. And we also know, as an actress, you know, sometimes you get it and you go, is this what we'll just, I have to figure it out. I just kind of have to, you know, I have to do my job and make it work, you know?
The whole needing to kill Stefan thing. I was like,
and just Stefan, not the other kids, just Stefan.
it's like, and I asked that, I think 3 different times. What? Just remind me, why does Megan want to kill Stefan? I don't get it.
Our thoughts exactly.
Well, it's interesting because we talked about it too, and we were like, okay, wait a minute, like, and you know, we always go to the board and review everything, and we were like, so the reason why Megan wants to kill Stefan is to get a bigger, you know, slice of the DiMera pie,
Right.
but then over here, her son is about to inherit like $1 trillion from marrying a woman for a year, and she's going to get some of that. Well, what's she going to do with all this money?
We never did hear the end of the grand plan.
Yeah.
No, we never. That's left up to interpretation.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, was there ever a plan, or was it just all talk?
Yeah. Well, you know, as the kids would say nowadays, Megan was about getting a bag.
Getting a bag.
Getting a bag. Is that what money is?
That's what
like
money
a
is.
like a bag of money?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a new one for me too, Tony. I haven't heard that one. So
well, listen, I'm hip. I'm on Threads, so I'm hip. You know,
I never heard of Thread. God, now I have to get hip.
Well, it's okay, Miranda. It just started
like 3 days ago.
Yeah, it's supposed to be the new Twitter. It's a whole thing.
You're doing just
I
fine
don't even need to know why. But one thing I do want to say about Twitter, so Twitter, and Instagram and Facebook, I actually love it as well. I mean, I know I started off on the downside, complaining side. Let's just be Megan for a second. But I love the immediacy of it. I love the fact that people come on and go, oh my God, you said that today, you cracked me up, or I love the way you did this, or I'm loving to hate you, or whatever version of what it is that they're needing to say. But it gives me a great deal of joy to kind of go on to my Twitter at night, which is your day. So I'm always there at night. And go, oh, cute, thanks. Oh, great. Okay, fun. Oh, shucks, that's great. So it really is a great deal more fun than just getting letters in the post, which is what we used to do.
Miranda, I have to ask you about this past scene that we had this last week, where I think universally everyone will agree you just gave like a master class from that bed, that hospital bed, where you were convincing Dimitri to believe you in the tears. And I just technically, how hard was it to do that scene laying down and sort of, or was it hard at all to do that laying down and bring the emotion? And because that was just like, I think we've talked on the show before about what we love about you is you bring sort of like this 80s diva villainess back to the show. We haven't had that energy and how different it is from the other characters and the other DiMeras. But that scene was just like, wow, I think it really blew people away and sort of showed people what, you know, you've always been able to do. But
it was definitely a standout scene of the week for sure.
Oh, thank you guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I compare it. There was a scene, I'll be brief, a few months ago with Stacy and Dan as Susan and EJ that really they really brought it home, and we were just like, okay, this is both of their Emmy reels right here. I compare you and Peter in that scene in the hospital. It was just it was probably for me the most poignant scene of the week, if not the past couple weeks. There was a lot of heart. There was a lot of just, you know, heart and soul in it. So yeah. But Justin's question, how was it to perform that? Because you were kind of all, you know, shackled and everything.
Strained. Yeah, no, thank you. I mean, thank you, first of all. Really appreciate that. And the background of that show, my scenes in that show, I got that script and it looked nothing like that. It looked very different and very stripped bare, really pared back. And this was also the same day I received that script, the same day that I found out that the big scene when I hit EJ over the head, I was having to do that whole show with a stand-in.
Oh,
that explains something.
That explains a certain part that we were talking about. That was a little cut of that scene, but we'll get back to that. We'll
get back to that. But the point is this: there was a lot going on. There was a lot going on in my personal life. I was kind of high in the sort of like on the verge of it, and I got the script that was dull. Let's just put it that way. And I found that out about EJ. And so the next day I got on set and was, you know, we were about to film the EJ scene and they said something to me like, okay, now this phone call, it's nighttime. And I'm like, no, it's not. No, it's not. This is a direct pickup from yesterday. It was a daytime phone call. No, but they've written it as a night scene. Like, it can't be a night scene. What are you talking about? It's the same phone call. It was in the day. They're like, yeah, but that's just what they've written. So that's what we're doing. And I went, I'll be right back. And I walked on the set. I'm like, I'm not going to break down. I'm not going to break down. Because it was this like, an owl alarm comes over and says, it's okay. It's okay. Tell me what's going on. Tell me what's going on. And I said this, and I said that, and I said this and that. And I said, and that script, like, that's my leaving script. Like, I'm going out with a fizzle. That's ridiculous. I hate it. And he's like, the script. We'll fix the script. Don't worry. We'll fix the script. And he, true to his word, gave it back to the writers. The writers came back with aces, gave me the script. I read the script and I just went, this is a leaving script. Thank you.
That's great.
Yeah, it touched me so deeply that they cared so much, you know? It's like there are certain things you can't do anything about. The actor couldn't be there. I couldn't stay into January. It just had to be done like that. The writers wrote this like that for whatever reason. I don't even need to know. Same phone call. Suddenly was 8 hours later. Whatever. We're just going to film it because here we are working. But that they could fix. And I just adored Al for that. And filming it was, Peter is amazing. Peter Porte, I love working with him. I love watching his work as I've been watching the shows. And I just, you know, we just agree that we're thick as thieves, you know. We're absolutely mother and son, clearly bonded together, and it doesn't matter what the truth is or isn't. Ultimately, we just have to be fully connected to each other. And so we went into it like that, and you know, it was deep, it was real, it was really, really beautiful. And you know, it wasn't difficult. It wasn't a struggle. It didn't matter that I was handcuffed. That all added to it. Handcuffed, this stuff all over my face and my nose and everything else. And it just completely added to everything, because that feeling of helplessness and desperation.
Yeah.
Like, I cannot lose Dimitri. I cannot allow him to see me as a failure. It's anything other than, the epitome of power and authority and everything that a mother's supposed to be, loving as well and caring, which is there, even if it is twisted.
Yeah.
That's very true to DiMera family love, though.
Yeah.
It's love, but it's definitely twisted.
Well, it's always the subtext underneath it. There's what's being said, and then what's being said.
While we're talking about Peter and Dimitri, how much time did you and Peter, if at all, have to because you guys kind of came out of the gate with this really solid mother-son dynamic, and it just it fit and it made sense, and there didn't seem to be, at least from a viewer standpoint, a struggle to accept that relationship. And so how was it like for you two? Did you guys, was it like Peter, Miranda, Peter, and go? Or did you guys have time to kind of get to know each other? And I don't remember, this was probably back earlier this year when COVID restrictions were still a thing. And I know for a while, actors weren't allowed to be in the same room with each other. So how did you guys how hard did you guys have to work to develop that rapport?
Yeah, it wasn't hard. The thing is, Peter, as I said, is wonderful. We ran lines together. We chatted. We kind of really got on well, easily. There was nothing in the way. I think at one point early, the very first day that we were shooting together, and I'm trying to remember what that scene was. Oh, because the whole introduction of Dimitri started with me saying, "And you're getting married to your aunt." And there was resistance. So then we had a conversation about, where's this resistance coming from? Is this resistance like, Mom, I'm putting up a barrier to you? Or is it, which is what he ended up playing, just like, I adore you, Mom, you're amazing. Ugh, really? Do I have to do that? Which was a much juicier and interesting dynamic. Do you know what I mean? I mean, it's so easy to just get the mother-son, negative relationship, whatever. But it was just so much fun to play this kind of we're on totally the same team, but really, that's what you want me to do? Oh, all right. I don't remember. I remember someone asked, must have been in an interview. Yeah, in an interview. After we've seen the relationship between Dimitri and Megan, does that mean that Megan had masterminded Beyond Salem 1?
Oh, I did see. I've seen that. Yeah.
Never occurred to me. I thought, nah. I think he just went off, did his own thing. Called the old block. He's got his own mind too. She doesn't run his life. She just runs, his Salem life.
Well, we were talking about the. You mentioned having to a double stand-in for Dan Fugel, who plays EJ, for the kidnapping scene. We mentioned that it was first of all, Megan is very strong, because not only was she able to get a 6'2", very built man, knock him out and drag him into the tunnels, and also do the same with Kristen. But we found it interesting that, here he is turning to go tell what the evil plan is with Stefan. And then Megan grabs this vase and charging towards him. And then there's a moment where he's just standing there, and we're like, Well, why are you just standing there? It's Salem. We all know when you turn your back, one or two things are going to happen. You're either going to get knocked out over your head, or you're going to get shot. But you're about to get knocked out. So why are you still standing there? So it was like an interesting cut where he's like standing there and he's like, I'm waiting, and then finally you go, and then you have this moment of like, oh, gosh, now I have this man knocked out and a broken vase. This is not part of the plan. It was fun. It was fun to just watch that moment of just, the pause, the hit, the oh my God, now I have to deal with this on top of all the other stuff I have to deal with. Now I have to deal with this. It was great. It was fun. But now we know it was a double, which makes sense why Dan kind of stopped, and then you finally charged in, and then all that. So now we've connected the dots, Miranda. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you have to do a lot in terms of the stand-ins? Were there any other scenes because of the scheduling factor? And it was kind of like I was thinking about like when the EJ hit happened, and then when that final scene happened, and the EJ hit happened like weeks ago. So it's kind of amazing to me that the show is able to kind of produce things in a way where I can't imagine the coordinator, like the production coordinator, and I do not envy him or her because it seems like a lot, but makes it happen. But were there any other scenes you had to do? Any other stand-ins that had to be? Yeah,
just one. It was Dr. Rolf. When we were in the lab with Harris Michaels, this last time. I don't know what happened, but Dr. Rolf couldn't be there, so I had to do a stand-in with Dr. Rolf stand-in.
Do the stand-ins put as much like? Do they kind of go into character, or are they literally just standing?
She's like, I love it. Enough said. We got it.
Looking for the words. They read a script.
Okay, got it.
They read.
All right.
Yes.
Do you find that like is that difficult? Like as professional, but is that difficult for you when you're used to playing against an actor in like fully in character, and then you have a stand-in who, like you said, is just reading a script? Like, does it take, like, I would imagine as an actor, it kind of is jarring and it may be a little bit challenging, but you took the challenge and went with it. Yeah.
It's just far from ideal. And I think, to do the scene with Dr. Rolf and Harris Michaels with a stand-in was not the end of the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
There wasn't much. There wasn't there was nothing intense. There was nothing emotional. There's no connect. You know what I mean? There's no hooking elements. To do the scene with a stand-in instead of Dan, the EJ scene, was a struggle. Not a struggle. It was just, it's like I had to make it all up. So I had to imagine what Dan might be doing.
Yeah.
How he might be reading the lines, what I might be working with. Because, as an actor, we play off each other.
Yeah. You feed off that energy.
What he gives me, I use in my next lines. I'm listening to him, and then I'm responding to him. Yeah. And if I'm working with someone who's reading a script, then I'm not responding to that. And that means I'm literally not responding. I'm making it all up. Yeah. It's just not ideal.
Yeah. Well, then let me switch gears to a different energy where you don't have a scene partner in this. This is very much monologue work. You walk into the DiMera mansion for the first time, and there's the portrait.
Oh, the infamous talk to the portrait.
There is the Stefano, the Joseph Mascalo. Yeah. How I imagine that's a very different energy going into that, because while unfortunately, Joseph is no longer here with us, that presence is just, it is living and breathing on that set. his presence.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's, to me, that was fundamental to everything that I did.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that Stefano was there, that I was there for Stefano, that I was working for Stefano, and his everything that he had taught me and whatever he had, raised me to be. And a monologue's not the same thing as a dialogue. Let's be fair.
Yeah.
You're not meant to be responding to another person. You're meant to be ruminating. You're meant to be, you know what I mean? Pondering and then expressing. It's different. It's different than a scene where you're just about to nearly kill someone.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, no, Joe was always there.
Yeah.
Definitely always there. And that was really part of how I played Megan.
Yeah.
And I don't know how all the other DiMeras do it. I don't know. I haven't watched Days for 38 years. So people say things like, you're the most like Joe. You're the most like Stefano. It's like, am I?
Yeah.
I don't even
From
know
our perspective, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a beautiful thing about you coming in so many years later as you did, is because, as you said, and as we can see, all of Stefano's children do have different relationships with him. Some are biological, some are adopted, some he raised, some he knew later in life. And because of that, they all do have different relationships with him. And you play that very well, as you have your own relationship with him that just goes a bit farther back than the rest of them, but it's always, there's one singular dimension, that is that everyone, you look at the portrait, stop it, no matter how complicated the relationships are, that portrait will never come down.
No. And people will always continue talking to it.
Yes.
But it is very true, and I believe I said this when Megan first came into Beyond Salem. I was like, I could see her as the Stefano of the DiMeras, like the person who really would go there and really would have a plan that's so diabolical and so like classic, like what we're used to with the show, that like, that essence is sometimes what's missed. Just that class, those classic moments of like, there's someone doing a DiMera wrong, or the DiMeras have to end up on top, and what are we going to do to get there? And Megan will be the one that's like, I got this, and everyone follows suit. So you've definitely brought that to the canvas. For you, and we'll have like one or two more questions, because I know I'm looking at the time and I'm like, oh, it's getting late. But for you, what's been the best part of playing Megan? Because to begin this character, so many years ago, and then to come back and be able to play her again. What has it been like for you to play the character?
When Megan was originally on, I as an actress went through quite an arc. Because she started out being sweet and lovely and wonderful and wanting her high school boyfriend back, and turned totally maniacal. And for me, that was, it had its downside in that it played on my own emotional stability. Like, I didn't like people hating me.
Yeah.
I confused the character with the actress. And so that was a really kind of unstable sort of footing for me to be on. And when I left the show, there was this sense of, oh, thank God, now I don't have to have people hating me. And then I got another role on Capitol, being the same sort of character. And after that on Santa Barbara, and I went, what do they know that I don't know? And over the years in between, I've kind of come to grips with the fact that, you know, it's like that energy, that evil energy, that energy of hatred or revenge or, you know, jealousy, all of that exists. That exists out there in the ether, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it can get anyone.
Yeah.
It just comes in and it takes you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that means that it's just like acting. You just go, oh, okay, come on in. You can have me for now.
Mm-hmm.
And then I go home. So once I recognize that that's just an energy that I allow to run my body, and then it goes away. It's not me. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
all the difference. It's like, oh, I could do that. I can do that. That's what I'm really good at. I'm really good at just going, okay, what's needed here? There it is. Let's go.
Yeah.
It's not, it doesn't live inside of me. It lives somewhere out there in the ether.
Mm-hmm. 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 And it's just that little bit that you can take and you can use it, and then you put it right back out.
Yeah. It's like, wash through me. I'll dance with you while you're here because I need to, because that's what's called for.
Yeah.
Now you go away again, honey, because you're not me. I'm just gonna come back to me now.
Right. Is it interesting to go from like this soap star moment in life, you know, you like to pick up like your normal regular everyday life, and then you come here and you do your thing, and then you go back home. Like, what is that transition like for you? Because I can just imagine that, like, you know, to be an actress, it's like I'm excited, I'm working, but it's so out of your regular day to day. So what is that transition like from Miranda Wilson in England to Miranda Wilson, Megan Hathaway DiMera? You know, what is that transition like?
Yeah. Okay. So what I find the most beneficial about having an ordinary life is that sense of stability. Like, I wouldn't have come to that realization and understanding that I have, that I've just been talking about. But let's call it evil as a umbrella concept. Energy lives out there in the ether, and we all just pluck it up and allow it to run our bodies whenever we feel like it, or we don't necessarily feel like it, but because for whatever reason we're not necessarily on solid footing, it gets us, you know, however it happens, because, you know, there are people who get taken. Megan is taken by this energy, right? Because I have the stability that I have in my life. I go to work every morning. I come home every night. I just, you know, I do real jobs just like anybody else. That consistency, that stability allowed me to recognize what really is going on. Oh, okay. So that means that I can be a solid person, and I get to decide when that energy comes and goes.
Yeah.
I get to be the one who makes that decision. Does this make sense?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's also a little bit odd to go back into the office and they're like, how did it go? And it's like, great. You know, it's like, what do you say? You know, I don't really sit there telling stories because we got work to do.
Right.
On with our work. Every now and then a story might come out of something that happened, but mostly it's just like, oh, cool, glad it went well. And you go on with your day. None of them have seen my stuff. None of them will watch it. It's not on over here in England. So I'm just a person like any other person. And then I go do that job. I do this job. I do that job. I do whatever job I do.
Yeah.
But I think it's, as I say, it's the stability. It's the consistency of just having that ongoing work, which a lot of actors, most actors don't get to have. You don't get a consistency of work. So, no matter what, there's a lack of consistency. And I think that leads to all kinds of issues in anybody's life.
Yeah. There is a small part of me that wishes that like there was someone in your office that was like a huge fan of Days and had like that VPN code or something, and like as soon as you got back, would just peep over the cubicle and be like, "So, is there anything you want to share? Like, what's gonna happen? Like, is she coming back?" I just imagine that person like in the office, like as soon as you walk back in, they're just like, "Hi, Miranda."
It's simply because it's an American soap. I know, the Brits have their own soaps, and I feel like you would get a different reaction if you were over there.
Yeah. I mean, yes, absolutely. They have their own soaps, and I'm not on them.
Well, Miranda, it has been such a joy to get a chance to talk to you about Megan, about your time on the show, and of course, the number one question fans want to know: will Megan return? But we can't answer that question because who knows? We just have to continue watching Days on Peacock to find out if Miranda will make a return. But we are hoping that Miranda does make a return because listen, I mean, the way she exits stage left in Princess Gina's submarine with Rolf.
Princess Gina. Oh, that's right. Princess Gina had a submarine.
We gotta know what happened. And we were saying like, oh, the timing of this whole submarine thing was no one knew submarines were going to be
6 months ago what was going to happen.
A huge topic, but the story has to we have to know what happens next. We have to know what's Megan's plan, and is she going to be on some deserted island still like texting Dimitri and saying, "Okay, don't disappoint me. You make sure you marry that girl."
In true DiMera fashion, she's going to be on an island with a TV with cameras everywhere. And is going to be able to, that goes back to like probably even before the 90s, but Stefano had TVs and he could see everything happening, even when he was anywhere but in Salem. So that's what I picture. That's what I picture Megan doing, is just watching and taking notes. So when she does come back, she knows what to correct. Yeah.
And her mind knows the master plan.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I look forward to Megan coming back if that's what they have in mind. So we'll see.
And next year we will, the Dishin Days Awards 2024. I saw the messages about, and I was like, it was flattering in a way because I was like, oh, she actually, someone cares. Like
someone's paying attention.
Yeah, someone's paying attention. And was this? What about the main? Was this just the main? We're like, oh, it's just the main show. So next year, Megan's is in your year.
We've got you on the list, Miranda. We do. I tell you, it was one of the sweetest messages. Like what about Megan? It's like no. We could never.
No.
You have really brought an amazing energy to the show, and
for sure.
And Megan has definitely brought that DiMera essence that we know and love. The DiMeras right now are so individualized and so like into their own thing that it was nice to kind of have someone come in and go, haha, this is how we used to be, and this is how we should be. Until the whole plan unfolded and she got shot, and then now we don't know where she is. So
well, it'd be nice if she comes back, that there is more of a, I don't know, a family thing, even if there's infighting and whatever. But we'll see. Who knows?
See.
They have their own ideas.
Well, listen, the fans' voice always rings very loud. So if we push them enough, we will hopefully see the return of Megan. And if you need a note for work, just let us know, and we'll write a note for you. You're like,
please excuse me.
Do you want to know a secret?
Yeah.
Always.
My boss on that job was not really thrilled about the length of time I was gone. So
Oh no, I can only imagine. See, I wish there were attention all bosses who are watching this. Be cool, like
Don't be
sometimes.
uncool.
Yeah, don't be an uncool boss. Be a cool boss, because sometimes things happen, and whatever. We in the
It
South.
is what it is. It's like, okay, that isn't the place that I need to be now. I'm off for another one. It's fine.
Well, things happen for a reason, and as we say in the South, bless their heart. And that can mean a number of things. Oh, and but before we go, Miranda, I have to tell you, my mom, who has become one of the newest fans of Days, and has started watching with me. She likes to text me during the show her thoughts. Although she has now stumbled into the chat. We'll find out that later. But she wanted me to tell you that you're a badass. So that is from my mother, who has enjoyed watching Megan DiMera. So you are a badass to her and to all of us.
To all of us too. Yeah.
Thank you all very much. I really appreciate it. It's been a pleasure.
Oh, of course. It's been a pleasure watching everything unfold. And thank you so much for joining us today. Now, feel free to go and get some sleep.
Thank you. I still have to get up at 4 a.m.
Oh no. Okay. Well, you have a wonderful night's sleep or nap or whichever. And thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes, good night. Thank you.
So beautiful. Thank you all. Thanks to the fans. You guys are amazing, and you've made it a real joy. A real joy to be.
We'll see you soon.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We'll see you soon, Miranda. Bye. I always enjoy talking to her. She's so lovely. And
but
so
that
sweet.
woman's got to get some rest.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Oh,
what time is it over there right now? I know it's late, but like how late?
Midnight.
I think it's
past midnight. Oh,
yeah.
That's how much she cares about.
Proves my theory that it doesn't matter where in the world you are. No one likes Monday mornings. No, it doesn't matter what continent you are in. Monday mornings are gonna suck, no matter what.
Yes. Well, hopefully, she has a little bit of pep in her step just by talking to us.
If she's careful, she can use her face and her hair. If she sleeps like this,
if she just goes to bed like this,
she can pop up and just put on some fresh clothes and be ready for the day.
Hey, it worked for Melissa McCarthy. She says when all this happens, I try to keep it, and she just goes to sleep like this.
Send your boss a link to this interview. Yeah, this is why it was. Yeah.
Well, guess what, y'all? We still have to talk about Days. We wanted to definitely bring the interview to you guys. We didn't want Miranda to wait because of the big time difference, and so we definitely appreciate her, coming on. But now, let's talk Days. It is now time to start.
Dishin Days.
Oh, wow. We did it. It sounds great. All right.
We did it. I had to finish it. You started, Tony. I had to finish it.
I love it. Thank you because all I know is the part of we did it. Thank you. See, aren't those bells and whistles fun? And thank you guys so much.
They are there. Yes,
thank you guys. Everyone is saying great interview, very good. Thank you so much. But stick around because we want to talk Days with all 174 of you. So we're gonna start with
Tony, really quick, what's your mom's name on the? She hasn't said anything, has she?
Well, she has. It's Mildred Moore on here, and she's.
Oh, I was looking.
My mom said, "Look, I'm in the chat room by accident."
Yeah.
She was like, I somehow was clicking buttons, and I ended up, and literally it popped up Mildred Moore, and she was like, "Look, I'm in the chat," and I was like. Well, welcome. And
however it happened, it happened.
Yes. It happened. And now I'm pretty sure, some other button has happened, and now she doesn't know how to get back in the chat. She hasn't said anything for quite some time. All right, you guys. So let's start with the first storyline: escaping in a submarine. Too soon. This is the lovely Megan DiMera storyline with all that are involved, and it's all centered around that little engagement party where it all went down. I really was hoping that Harris Michaels was not brainwashed, but he definitely.
I'll be honest. This week was dragging for me.
Really?
So
I'm surprised.
So much dragging for me, because it felt like we got spurts of brilliance, and then everything else was just lather, rinse, repeat. Like I am so tired of seeing Harris Michaels brainwashed. I'm exhausted by this process, as is he. Like,
well, at least he came to the realization by the end of the week. By the way, I love that Kate is now like a makeshift deprogrammer. Like, she kind of got through to Bo a couple months ago, and then she brought that essence into Harris Michaels.
Yes,
she was like, you know what? I feel like she literally was like, I can get this guy straight, and you know, so she kind of she did by the end of the week. He called Marlena in via the police. And all we heard was him say, I need your help. And then, you know,
see, like that was the spurt.
I assume she's going to pull out her tea of hypnotizing and like she did with, I was kind of disappointed we didn't see the hypnosis with EJ and Kristen. It's like we came back from break and it was all done and it was all wrapped up. And I was like, I would have liked to have seen at least one or two scenes of them like remembering, but maybe because they had to like, you know, the timing of everything, and there was a lot going on in that storyline. There was so much to like unwrap that maybe it was just for time's sake, and they just had to get it done.
Can you imagine if, like, while they were under hypnosis, that they revealed some other tea?
I know. While Kate had him under, she was like, "Well, while I have you," or Marlena had them under. She was
like, "I have some other questions for you."
Are you plotting against Brady? What other schemes do you have going on?
Or can you imagine, like, she has Kristen under hypnosis, and she's like, "You will leave Brady alone.
Yes, right?
You will be a great mother to Rachel. Yes. You will not, I repeat, you will not continue being the evil bitch you've always just." I mean, that was the perfect time.
Yeah, I was kind of with you, Tony. I was expecting him not to be programmed, and that was going to be the reveal. But I also feel like they in a roundabout way, we sort of, I think, got the same result. He ended up shooting Megan, and then is sort of Lee's sort of still in the mix there. Not really, but kind of. He's still kind of, there's still a question mark regarding his involvement there, but
he's not in the clear yet. Stefan made it clear. He's like, okay, I may believe that you weren't the mastermind behind it, but I need to make sure you weren't involved at all before I give you a pass. And Lee was involved. He, may not have done the brainwashing, but he got Dr. Rolf back to do the brainwashing. So he's definitely complicit, if nothing else.
Yes. And let me be clear. It's not the actors that have made me feel like the storyline was dragging, because I do feel like we got some brilliant stuff. We got some brilliant stuff out of those Kate and Harris scenes. We got some brilliant stuff out of, Johnny Wendy, when she's just trying to come to terms that, her brother could have ordered this, done this monstrous thing. We got, Chad got in there, and he and Stephanie really tried to get in Harris's head. We got some brilliant stuff out of everybody in that, who was in that room, and consequently everybody who was affected. But it's, I don't know what it is. It just felt like this was kind of like dragging. I think I felt the way that Miranda Wilson felt, that like, this is the way we're going with this, and it left a sour taste in my mouth, so that like I couldn't necessarily enjoy those brilliant individualized scenes with the actors. I could recognize them, but I couldn't necessarily enjoy them in the same way, because I just didn't like where it went.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's one of those things where it's like they still could have ended up here without Harris Michaels being brainwashed.
Yeah.
Like it could have just been like, you know, it didn't happen because, you know, because I think now we just feel sorry for the character that like he keeps getting pushed and pulled in like all of these different directions. And then there was a moment I thought, oh, him and Kate would be great together. And I was like, oh, but Kate's with Roman.
I know.
Like I was like, oh, sorry,
Wait,
sorry, Roman.
Kate's not above getting dickmatized by someone else while she's with someone else.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. I feel like Lauren and Steve definitely have a good rapport with each other. They play off of each other very well. I do, in my opinion, the whole Kate and Roman thing was Kate settling, like, and not that it's out of character for Kate, you know, she's gone through her evolutions and whatnot, and she and Roman have been happy and settled for a while now, and it may be time to drop a little drama in that relationship. Aside, you know, there was drama last year with Lucas, but you know, I don't know. I was kind of digging them together too. I was like, they could be interesting together if written properly.
It could have been an interesting pair for sure.
I was thinking that too, Tony, but then I also thought of like, once I remembered like, oh, she's with Roman, like, let's leave that alone. Like we've had too much back and forth with that, but also just typical Kate fashion being like a mother figure there. We've seen Kate settle into that role with other people outside of her children. Now that she doesn't have a lot of children on the canvas, we see her doing that with Jada. We see, of course, this stuff with Chad. And so I transferred it as that now of like, oh, I can see her being that to him. And again, he doesn't have, we talked about this with his character. He's missing the usual people that would ground him. We don't have Eve. We don't have Kim and Shane on the show. Those are people we interacted with the last time he was on the show. So none of those people are here. We need something to kind of keep him. They're not introducing any family as far as we know anytime soon, and they haven't yet. So you know, I can see Kate being a friend / mother figure. And you know what? Maybe that's where the conflict comes in with her and Roman. Maybe it's not he's a potential lover. He's, you know, it's her looking out for him, and that creates drama in their relationship. Like,
the most enjoyable part I found of this entire sequence. Well, first was the scene with Miranda and Peter. I thought that was brilliantly done. Always that like there's what's being said and then what's like, no, this is what I'm telling you.
It's amazing, and not to derail you, Arsa, just for a second. It's amazing how these scenes between, and the last time I mentioned it was between Susan and EJ, these mother-son scenes, they kind of just jump out. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you're going along the episode and suddenly you're just like, and you're just glued to your TV, and it's like, well, where did this come from? And you start to get the feels, and it was just, it's nice to have that. That's what you want. And if there was a way they could, I know not every scene can be like that, but it's these poignant scenes just come out of nowhere, and it's lovely. But I'll let you continue. Sorry.
Yeah, no, but that's that's exactly what I mean. Like the scenes where she's being earnest with him, and then it was not a complete, but it was a kind of a switch to veil of, now this is how I'm going to talk to you in front of this other person, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. I am now putting up because you guys know I love my polls. I'm seeing in the chat room, people have some interesting pairings for Harris. So if you go on Instagram and into our Insta stories, I'm asking the question, who would you like to see Harris Michaels paired with? And then let me know your answers, and then I will post them throughout the day tomorrow.
Yeah. And then the other thing, but just before we have, there's one thing that I don't think we talked about, but I feel like it needed to be, and I don't know why this didn't make, I'll just put it out there, this didn't make this week's It's a Gift, but now I'm regretting the decision. When Gabby just leapt right onto him, and now I I apologize to our viewers. That should have been this week's It's a GIF, and
she went flying through the air like a goddamn lawn dart.
Let me tell you it, but I totally understand, and it is totally in character because it was basically a not my man kind of a moment.
Not again. He's not going down like this again.
We just got him back.
Yeah. And to see this built, muscly man being like handled by this fiery Latina, I was just like, Gabby is making sure, like, she's like, I don't know who you here for, but it ain't my man. I'm taking you down.
I really want to talk to them about that scene now because you could just see her legs.
It was. Oh, there's my mom. She said protecting her man. She sure was.
My mama more.
She said, She said, not my man. And it was literally like if you ever been in like high school or middle school and that one girl who's been waiting all day to like, whoop this girl's ass. And like, you see her from like across the other side of the room, just like, that's what Gabby looked like. That's bravo. I will say, and I was thinking about this the other day, and I can't remember who. I think I was talking to James Lott Jr. about this. It hurts my heart what has transpired with the Li Shin character. I didn't want him to participate in this at all. Like, I wanted him to kind of be like, get somebody else to do it. Like, I have been working hard to get back in good graces. I don't want anything to do with this. And like when he first came on the canvas of like every now and then popping in and just being like, I'm here to protect the business. It was always like, hey, Lee. And now it's like, Lee.
It's a perpetual loop.
Together, girl.
Yeah.
And it's funny because they could have achieved the same thing without taking him out of it. Megan still could have put the blame on him, and that could have been interesting where he's actually innocent and then he's defending himself. Or like we've talked about before.
Well, I think the reason she needed Lee is because he knew where Dr. Rolf was.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I felt like that could have been, she could have finagled that. Like
she's Megan DiMera. She could have found where Rolf was without Lee, right? Is that what you're saying?
Or got that information from Lee, but not kept him as part of the plan. But like we were talking about, like I think it would have aided the character better if he was doing this for power instead of the Gabby situation. It was like you just got over Gabby. Like I felt like you really put a period on that storyline, and he was moving on. And it was like, okay, let's see what he can get into now. And it's like he was so easily pulled back in, and you're just like no. But and now he's just sitting in jail, or not jail, but in the room. Yeah.
The room. How do we feel about the progression of Gwen and Dimitri? And before we answer that, I have to say that whole dialogue that Gwen had with Dimitri about, these kind of things happen in Salem. Just wait till someone's masquerading around in a
Anyone
mask.
Haven't been brainwashed?
Right. Yeah. I was like that. Those are the real moments that I appreciate, is when they recognize like, oh girl, this happens in Salem all the time. Like, who hasn't been brainwashed or kidnapped or risen from the dead? Like,
what did she call the mask? A Mission Impossible? Wait till someone rips off a Mission Impossible mask. Like, what?
But how do we feel? Because there are moments where I feel like I get it. Gwen is like, I just need love, and this man is so vulnerable, into me, and he got money. He cute. He is magical.
Magical, yes. Yes, the magical bean.
Magical.
I think this is what makes me think that like this girl is not even that. She's just tired. She's
Well,
just
true. No, she's
tired.
vulnerable because of what sorry, Araceli. Like I think she's vulnerable. Are you saying it's like she's vulnerable because of what she's been through with Xander?
Yes.
And
her soul is just tired. Because how else would her gaydar have been so off?
Well, we don't know if he's gay. I mean, yes, it ended with a kiss,
that's what we saw the kiss, but we don't know if this is like there's been characters on soaps that have been gay to suit their own interest. Adam on The Young and the Restless engaged in a homosexual relationship to further his agenda.
You sounded so old just now. Yes, Adam on The Young and the Restless engaged in a homosexual relationship.
But I so greatly disapproved of that move, though. Like that I feel like I get that it's been done in the past, but I feel like that is just so insulting today that it's just I hate it.
Well, I mean, listen.
If he's fluid, fine.
There are still people out in this world who will do what they need to do to get it done.
Where I hope this goes, and I'm just putting it out there without any.
What you putting out there, Michael Mattis?
Happen. I'm just putting out what I want. I'm putting out what I think should, because I think it would be juicy, and I don't think it would be kind of true to the Leo character. Well, it may actually be true to the Leo character now that I'm thinking about. Right now, he's sort of a stand-up, protect my friend kind of guy versus the trying to bilk Kevin Spiritus, Craig. Yeah. Craig, out of money and whatever. If he actually, if Dimitri actually is like into him and they kind of have a thing on the side and they kind of, and then Leo doesn't tell Gwen about the money and almost like betrays Gwen in a way, in two ways. One, well, I guess in just the one way, taking her man. But then she doesn't know about it. But I don't know if Leo would actually do that with Gwen. Gwen and him have that relationship where I don't think that it would make some nice, messy drama. But anyway, I think that would be interesting.
Michael Mattis, there has to be a reason for all of these long monologues. And for that to happen, then those monologues are in vain.
The dialogue, right? Whoever writes Leo's dialogue must be like hand massages, like 20 times a day because of all the typing and all the words. And Greg, I don't know how he holds all of those words in his brain.
I love it.
Able to regurgitate them in
character. Love it so much. I love how specifically I love how he is so eloquent and knows those big words, and you can tell that he actually has a vast knowledge of pop culture, of theater, of all this stuff. And then in the next breath, he can say a line like, "Orgasms don't count."
I'm kind of with you, Michael. I'm kind of feeling that's where this storyline is going. But also remember, Leo 100% turned on Gwen during the Abigail murder plotline very easily. Again, they've come a long way since then, so I don't know. I'm with you. I think that's where it's going, but I hope there's a little bit of a twist there. Like maybe it's Dimitri ropes Leo in on the money aspect of it in terms of being quiet, and the caveat is that he's doing this for Gwen, or he's going to share the money with Gwen. You know what I mean? Without her knowing. But I'm hoping there's a little bit of a twist there, but I agree with you. I kind of think that's where this is going.
And there's also rumblings about what if Gwen is going along with this because she knows something's up and is just that could be the case. But I don't know. I'm more on the side of she's vulnerable. She just is tired. Everything we said before. So
bring back the Gwen that we knew, who came in with this diabolical plan of getting the Devereaux what she thought they deserved.
Yeah.
Bring back the Gwen who was in plaid shirts and then randomly in like a sparkly evening gown the next episode because she was going out. That sticks in my brain that she was that they dressed her so frumpy. And then suddenly in next episode, she was all like hairdo, sparkly dress. And
hair done, like, nails done, everything did.
Yeah. It sticks in my brain. That was like years ago, but But yeah, bring back the scrappy Gwen.
Yeah.
And maybe that's, that could, maybe, like I said, it could be she knows what's up, and who knows, but it'd be interesting to see.
I was also hoping that Leo would be a little more quiet while he was snooping. Like, was it just me? But like I wanted him to go in the room and be like,
yeah.
And then kind of, but he was like, I gotta find something. And I was like, who doesn't hear that? Like, who doesn't hear that? Y'all heard that, right? But see, can you hear this? No. I was like, Leo, be quiet, girl. But then Dimitri came in and caught him and laid that kiss on him. And first of all, kudos to Greg Rickard for just Leo. For the monologues, which are like when he goes into them, I'm just like, it's very Leo and just how his mind works and how his mind thinks, right? Mm-hmm. And then when Dimitri planted that kiss on him, he was like,
yes.
Mm-hmm.
He was confused at all. He was,
He all of a sudden he went into like, what is happening? And that's how he looked. So I don't know. It's more to that, but
by Dimitri.
I mean,
who's gonna get dignified?
Gwen who?
Sorry. Wait. I'm sorry. Araceli, what was that?
Yeah, notice how she slipped that in when we were all yapping away.
While we were all talking. I just want
we're not gonna hear it.
What was that, Araceli?
It seems like Leo's gonna get digmatized next.
Okay.
Mark the episode. Mark the time.
Mark the episode. Mark the time.
You are so
she
easily amused.
She finally said digmatized and didn't even clutch her pearls in the process.
I had orgasms earlier, and y'all didn't say nothing.
Well,
orgasms ain't a thing. They're a thing.
But we also figured
they're not as dirty a word as digmatized.
Right.
Like orgasms can be said on Days of Our Lives. Digmatized is pushing the envelope, even on Peacock.
The second that if a writer somehow slips in Leo saying to Gwen, "What are you, digmatized?" I'm gonna be like, bravo, they watch our show.
It'll be 6 months from now, but yeah.
I'll take it.
You should get credit for that then.
I'll take it.
They're doing the the most PG version with the magical penis is basically what that is. Yeah.
You know who could come on and say that? Terrence. Terrence could come in and be like, "Oh, so now you're digmatized."
Digmatized by Dimitri.
Digmatized.
Oh, look, they put Araceli duly noted on the digmatized.
Several people have.
They have noted it,
and I haven't even had a drink yet.
Now that's the surprising part.
That's out of everything. That's
you don't have a glass of wine next to you. That's
well, I'm going out tonight, so I'm drinking later.
Oh,
so she's trying to save up.
Yeah.
Sunday fun day.
Right. What else? Okay, that's it. We've talked about everything with that storyline, right?
Yeah.
So we will figure out what's to come with that.
Megan on her submarine,
just floating away.
She will resurface because she has already died once before and come back.
Oh, they're totally bringing her.
Well,
back.
I mean, it's not this time. It's not that she didn't die. She just escaped. They know she's still alive. She just escaped.
I wish they would have showed.
Blub.
I just wish, they got to the dock, and it was a different part of the dock than Abe's memorial, and just hear the sound effect of like.
That could have been done. I don't think that they could have recreated the whole submarine just for that scene, but they could have done bubbles.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have seen that. And maybe if you hear Megan going, "So long, suckers." That might be a little too
You just hear,
cartoony.
"Oh my God, a submarine!"
Or Commissioner Rafe Hernandez, you're too late. All right. So let's move on to our next storyline. The champagne is burned on Body and Soul.
I have been waiting for them to bring Lauren Koslow on Body and Soul.
Listen, I thought about Michael Mattis during this part where
there was booze.
Well, not because there was booze, but I'm going to take you to the interrogation room when Lonnie was looking at the headshot and realized that he was on Body and Soul, and goes to Eli, "You love that show," and he tried to play it off, and he was like, "I just had a crush on one of the actors on there. I think her name was Sal," and I was like, "Ah!"
You know what's really funny? I had a delayed reaction because I was watching it and they had that conversation, and I went, "Ha!" And then I went, "No, I don't like that." Wait. And I think it was because it was. I think it was because it was Lamone and Sal.
Yeah,
and we like them, and so I was like, "Oh, they probably snuck that in."
Yeah,
that probably wasn't in the script. Then I was like, "Wait, no, I don't like."
Yes, yeah, no.
It was interesting.
The credits were it for me.
Well, okay.
The credit.
I wanted to mention this because right before I hopped on, because I didn't pay attention to this, but Araceli, because you watch all the other soaps, there's a video on YouTube that literally breaks down like the meaning of every character name, everything, and it's like origins of like
And I was kind of surprised, and to me, the surprising part were the specific characters, the specific names that were chosen for the actors who played the characters. So like they're recognizable, but like when you see the choices that they chose for Steve and Kayla's soap characters, it would be Tucker McCall, which was Tucker McCall was Y&R. And then right. Catherine Bell was GH, and
Margot Lindley.
They played husband and wife on our fiancés. They played a couple on General Hospital. Why didn't they just give name? And then I thought about
I think they must have been trying to do all four, because then Margot Lindley was Lauren Koslow's name on The Bold and the Beautiful.
Yeah.
But Lauren was also on The Young and the Restless for a brief time.
Yeah.
So I think they were trying to include all three of the other. Yeah. So they did one from GH, one from Y&R, and one from B&B.
I think if you guys, some people are asking for the link. If you guys just search like Body and Soul in credits, the YouTube video will come up. Because I ended up like Twitter. I ended up watching it by accident, and I was like, oh my goodness, like that's very interesting. Kudos to Body and Soul for continuing to give Abe clues as to like, bitch, this is what's happening to you.
I love that we got the reunion of Lauren Koslow and Terrell, because they shared so many scenes when he was such a young kid playing Theo, and so it was nice. I like that they found a way to put them together and give us that. So that was cute.
I really like Jill, Albert Alar, whoever is watching this. Randy, whoever is watching this, can y'all please? Can y'all
all the people on that email?
Right. Can y'all please do something with Body and Soul? Can you please make it a thing on YouTube for the Days channel? Something on like we are loving Body and Soul. Like I'm vested.
Yes.
I'm invested in Body and Soul. But how are we feeling about the progression of the Abe storyline?
I like how it progressed this week. We're getting to an almost boiling point with it, and it was a reason to bring Lamone and Sal back into the fold, and it was like they had never left, right? I feel like they just were able to what do you want to say, slide back in, and it's great to have them back. They're definitely a presence, and I feel like it was a really interesting choice to bring Terrell Ransom for and have, like, you know, I saw you guys in the run, the Tale of Two Theos, and the what's his name, Cameron and Terrell play really well off of each other.
Oh yeah.
And I was also really engaged, like with their little one-on-one scene. I was like, oh, this is interesting. Like, and I'm wondering if the show saw that and may do something, because Terrell definitely, like, but then it's also interesting because they aged Theo. But now it's almost like he could be playing Theo right now. They almost, like, Theo's age is I feel like is kind of stood still. I mean, it's implied that he's gotten older, but yeah, so maybe something there. There was just a lot going on in that storyline, but I like the progression. And now Abe finally figured out that Paulina was lying to him. He still doesn't know the whole truth, but of course she had to come in. I think we're finally going to reach the good stuff and try to and maybe figure out why Whitley is doing this. That's still the question mark. Is like the motive for this.
Yes,
we need the
and
motive.
That right there is my biggest source of frustration. It's like, I love seeing Sal and Lamont together. I love seeing them in the police station. I love the interaction with Terrell and Cameron. I love seeing, Jack A's face when Sal opened the door. It was just, like, I love all of these family interactions, but the freaking why of it all is just like, I need, you don't even have to tell me the whole thing, but I need something. Why did Whitley go to the apartment? Why is she really that batshit crazy, or is she like what? Like, I need to know the level. Is she just crazy? Is she crazy and
she's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs?
Like, I just like.
She has
nobody has that many cats in their apartment and isn't a little
right. Well, that's number one.
Like
number two, when she went to Paulina's house, I was like, bold. Two, when she was like, when she was able to just rattle off like, I worked on the campaign with him. I was like, and I just so happened to be in the park when you guys were getting married. I was like, this woman is single black female. Like, she is like, she's cuckoo for, so she's crazy. I feel like that cannot be her real name. I feel like that's like something else, because there is no way this woman has a clean record. Like, she's like, she is crazy. She's she's a Lifetime movie waiting to happen.
I have to say,
Whitley King, the abduction of a mayor. Ooh, I should write that.
Write it down right now.
I can write that.
I have
Go
to
ahead,
say,
Justin.
that scene.
What'd you have to say?
The end scene with her and Abe and James. That scene actually disturbed me. I don't know how you guys felt about it. Where he's crying, the tears are coming down, and it was like the voice from the previous scene. Yeah, and she's sitting there calmly. That honestly disturbed me, and I don't find myself being disturbed by Days. You can kind of
that was dark.
But that was, and we've joked about the whole Misery thing, but that was straight out of Misery. Like, that really was disturbing. Kudos
and this
to
was
for doing that scene.
Oh yeah.
This was after she
injected
shot him, right? Yeah, that was kind of like, oh Lord, what is really going on?
That took it to a new level, I think.
But see, this wouldn't happen if, when Abe gets this information, he would just sit there and not say nothing. You had all them hours to like leave, because I would have sat there quiet. Oh, hello, Paulina. I wouldn't have said anything about no more kids. No more. Oh, we're having fish sticks for dinner. Yum. Like, and then the second she's like, all right, I'm off to work, and then be like, wham. Good. I'm going to just catch up on some Body and Soul. And as soon as that door closed, I would have went, give it about 5 minutes, and then. Like, the fact that it was like, Theo, is Jerry? I gotta get out of here. And then there she is at the door. And then it's like, I would have been like, oh, I heard you coming. I wanted to greet you at the door.
Yep.
Like something. Like at some point, I just want them to like. I want him to like play it off or just do something. It's just because he has known since he got there that something is not right, and it's like between what the storyline is in Body and Soul, to his interactions with Theo, to the fact that Chanel ain't been over there, to the wedding, like at some point you just I would have started requesting stuff to make me stronger. So I think the nurse, what about my diet? Like, don't you think I should have like spinach? Something. There's something been over there just like eating and trying to get stronger. And while she's gone,
give me a ginkgo.
He's not Popeye.
Ginkgo biloba.
Ooh, Popeyes. That sounds good.
No, not Popeyes. Popeye.
Popeyes.
I know, but I'm saying Popeyes sounds good.
Yeah.
Oh, so okay, so
Dry-ass
okay. See, now that would probably work too.
Yeah.
Biscuit, is that what you're saying?
Yeah. He definitely said that really low key. Did anyone else chuckle a little bit when new Theo met old Theo?
When they what? Did I chuckle?
I did.
It was like a cute meta moment. Yeah.
I didn't mind that either. Someone said in the chat room, they were like, "Oh, we bet Michael Mattis hated that." I didn't mind it. It's very. Maybe I'm evolving. I think I'm starting to appreciate things a little more.
It made sense. It wasn't like they ran into each other and he was playing like a different character or someone different. Like it
still wasn't as bad as Brady, Rex, Brady.
I just feel like with like, just imagine like having that role beforehand and then being like, oh, so you're the new Theo.
I could have played you.
Sidebar.
Yeah.
Have we seen Cameron shirtless before?
I
don't.
This
the first time.
Was he sure? Oh no, I don't think we have before.
Moment.
Have we?
I did a rewind.
I would like to say
I want to say maybe we have. Not a lot.
So not in a very long time.
I don't.
Like maybe
I don't
back
think
in the day
so.
during his relationship with Claire.
Well, see,
if I can be like objectify for a minute, he looked good.
Well, yeah. Well, I feel like he definitely came back on with like a makeover.
Yeah.
Because I think he's and this is no shade, y'all, when I say this, but he does look really good. Like I feel like he's lost some weight.
Yeah.
And he's
goatee going on.
And he's cut his hair.
So it's more mature. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, he looks good.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So that is listen, Lonnie, girl, you just got out of Statesville. I wouldn't be doing nothing that I ain't supposed to be doing. How she all up in the interrogation room?
That was that was Eli. Eli had no problem with her doing that. Like
Eli didn't, but Eli, no, I would have been like, no hands, and then just have Eli be like,
pass it to you like a note, put it in your face.
I still am holding out hope that depending on Sal and what she wants to do, that like get Lonnie out of jail.
Oh yeah.
Like Lonnie is the only character who is in jail for something that can be justified, while all these other heifers are out of jail,
getting their pardons,
got pardoned and everything for stuff they ain't had no business doing.
Yeah.
Exactly. And what she did was
it was self-defense.
It wasn't self-defense, but it was in defense of Paulina getting bashed over the head. Like so it like self-defense, yes. It was a bullshit a bullshit what do you want to call it, conviction, and like I don't know, I still hold out hope that they're going to correct that.
You know what's interesting though,
they already kind of laid the groundwork for that though. They said that she's going to be out by Christmas.
She is in jail.
I guess that's fine.
She's in jail for the same thing that Sean Douglas did, except he out of jail and drinking.
Yeah.
1 beer,
Oh, so
2
long.
beer,
That's
3
I'm
beer.
just saying. And then also Chanel and Talia's run-in.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Talia's trying to she's trying to redeem herself. She really is.
Yeah.
Like, she's sorry. It's like at some point, Chanel, like, girl, just, you know.
And I understand it's hard to kind of see her as a victim and all that because she was being manipulated by
Colin.
I almost said Casper. Name's Colin.
Yes.
Was being manipulated by him, and she was just, I mean, she did actually, you know, do the actions and whatnot, but it's hard to see her as a victim in it, but you have to remember that she was a victim in it. But that she's taking her punishment, she's picking up her garbage, and she's wearing that vest, and
there are a lot of
paperwork people, and
there are a lot of people who are saying like, no, this is the way for Talia and Chanel to be a couple, and I'm like, can we just let it breathe for a second? Like, I'm not for or against it at this point, but it's like, Dylan Matthews, you watch your mouth. I'm gonna make you go wash it out with soap. You go wash that soap with mouth out with soap, young man. Oh my goodness.
Equality.
Oh my God. The moment, please, someone mark this time too. The moment that Araceli sounded like Sister Mary Mora.
I don't have. I only.
What are you gonna do? Hit him with a ruler?
No, I don't have a ruler. I just realized I don't have a ruler anymore. It got thrown out.
That tells me Dylan Matthews mean that though.
Geometry.
Which brings up the question: how do you guys feel about this quasi budding romance they seem to be leaning into with having Talia sort of confess now about feelings? Like,
I'm on the let it breathe train. Like, let's take a beat before we go more into it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I hate when you try to force the relationship dynamics, because then you end up with triangle after quadrangle, and then you end up with a character like poor Trip, who's just been in every single relationship triangle, quadrangle on the damn show for the last 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not crazy about it, honestly. I like them as friends. I feel like keep them as friends or bring them back together as friends and keep that chemistry. But I don't know. It's giving me too much like a repeat of Allie in her.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's, you know, yeah.
Not needed.
No, thank you. All right. Well, we've tasted the champagne and it's still burned. That's pretty much it with that storyline, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on to EJ's just happy to be free.
Mm-hmm.
This is all I'm going to say about this, and then y'all can say whatever it is that you want. I am team EJ, and that's all I have to say about that. I am so exhausted with trying to put Nicole and Eric together. I feel like this. She already had her sis, and it ain't work out.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore,
many a times.
Yeah, so therefore, I am team EJ. Like, there was a moment where I was like, oh, okay, fine. And then I was like, nope. Because when he was very understanding about them hugging at Abe's thing, him being there, like, you know, when he came out of the catacombs of the tunnels, like, I just feel like EJ and Nicole, there's something about them that I really like. And it's this understanding and this communication of like, neither one of us are perfect.
Mm-hmm. They can relate to each other more. Yeah.
We both have done some very devious things, but we are here together. Y'all can say whatever it is that you want to say. I am Team EJ, and I said what I said. I ain't gonna change it. I don't care what fanship comes after me and tweets me or messages me. I'm Team EJ. E to the J.
I'm on the same team, but I'm also realistic. That
you ain't got to be realistic. You can say what you want to say.
You said you weren't going to say nothing else. Suddenly. No, I'm team EJ Nicole, but realistically, I feel like this baby is gonna end up being Eric somehow.
Yeah.
There's gonna be a struggle where somebody who shouldn't find out first finds out first and keeps the secret, whether it's whoever, like, because we still have Sloan in the mix too. So, but the baby's going to end up being Eric's. It's down the road, it's going to end up reuniting them.
Yeah.
But will it stick? History has shown that it doesn't.
No, it doesn't. And that's why I'm like, this is the
then
reason.
What's the point of them? But I mean,
this is
going with the formula of how this has been going.
John and Marlena are such a super couple is that, like, you watch them as the years go on and the way that they support each other, the way that they celebrate each other's victories, and they don't judge each other for their worst mistakes. I think that's what makes them such a formidable couple. And you just don't see that, like, yeah, Nicole and Eric are toxic. He's on her side until she does something that makes him upset, and then he gets
all self-righteous and annoying, and
and then he regrets it. Then he wants her back, and then and it's rinse repeat.
I'm team Nicole and EJ. Funny you mentioned John and Marlena. I always sometimes have to remind people. John and Marlena were the secondary couple. Remember, Marlena and Roman were the original couple, and the super couple, and John was the interloper, and we know that.
Then in come Drake Hogestyn.
But it's the idea of you can have this person with someone else and make them a viable couple. You don't have to stick to this formula of this person belongs with this person, because that's how we started them off 25 years ago. And so we belabor this. I'm team EJ. I also think I would like the baby to be EJ's, regardless of who Nicole ends up with. I think to me that makes the storyline much more interesting, because no matter who, even if she does go back to Eric, then it's like they have a ready-made family again. Well, they had that 3 years ago with Holly, and it didn't work out. So I don't know. Make the babies, even if you put Nicole back with Eric, make the baby EJ's. That to me is interesting, because now that there's a struggle there with raising a child.
There's ongoing conflict potential, even though there's not,
Yeah. So we all agree with you, Tony.
And now we can move on.
It's another one where I'm just like, oh, if we're dragging this on.
Yeah, and we're back to Eric being like, I'm Eric.
The Eric and Brady voice sound very similar.
Because they both get that way. They both get that broody, those moments of like brooding.
You know what I hope the writers aren't sure about who Nicole's gonna land with still, and that
remember when they used to like make it up to the fans? They used to have contests.
Oh, did they?
In polls,
they did it with one. They did it with one storyline.
Zach was a poll online.
That's right. It was the Zach Isaac.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Before they did the retcon that Bo was the father. Yeah.
Well, I hope that whoever is watching, listening, please don't put them together. Like, just Nicole and EJ. I think maybe in a few years, if you want to re-explore, that's fine. But right now, we team EJ. Anyway, just some reminders before we go into our tidbits. Make sure you guys follow us on all social media platforms. Also, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Take a look at our podcast, folks. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Just search Dishin Days. And buy our merch, dishindays.threadless.com. Go and get yourself something pretty. And now on to tidbits. Beer me again. Just beer.
The true life story of Sean Douglas Brady.
I really don't have much to say about.
I mean, there wasn't much. Like he's drinking on the job. He's drinking when he shouldn't be. Belle has tried to. She said it herself. I'm going to stop enabling this. He brooded himself out. And
what corner store did he go to though to get that bottle wrapped up in a brown paper bag? Like, do people still do that? Do people still drink alcohol out of a brown paper bag?
When you go to Trader Joe's and buy a bottle of wine, they put it in a paper bag.
That's true.
In a paper bag.
So basically, what I'm hearing, Michael Mattis, is that you are sitting on the couch drinking a bottle of wine out of a paper bag.
Well, no, when I come home, I take the paper bag off of it. And no, I don't drink on the street either. I drink in the comfort of my own home.
You sure you're not taking a walk with Bimby, just like tossing it back?
No.
No.
Not with my child.
Yeah.
Well, aren't you responsible? Because Sean Brady ain't. He is on the case talking about, yeah, I'm right on top of that, Rose.
I will say I did chuckle when he walked in with Kate and Gabby. It was like, which one of you idiots? Let her go.
Like,
that was the only
you're one to talk.
I did chuckle at that. Like,
I was like, ooh, ain't we aggressive today?
Right. Yeah.
And then, but I like Lauren or Kate, not in front of him, got the last word. Well, he's like, well, he's the idiot.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I'm like, well, yeah.
Well, because we've always established that Kate she's just like, y'all, I am tired.
Yeah.
And I just don't have the strength, the energy anymore. Can we get on with it?
Mm-hmm.
That's how Kate feels.
We are getting, flashes of old Kate, which makes me very happy.
Yeah. We like that. Mm-hmm. All right, y'all. So that was this good dog that Michael Mattis. Show Bimby, please.
He's
not
napping.
A request to see Bimby.
It's fine.
Well, that has been your week of days, everyone, and we are now heading into our segments, and we're going to start with mine, which is Tony's official 3 Snaps Award. Oh, snap! So my 3 Snaps Award goes to a wonderful program that is giving us tidbits and insights as to what Abe might be going through. Yes, the good old parody Body and Soul gets Tony's official 3 Snaps Award just for being amazingly clever and including our favorite Salemites in different character forms. So to you, I give my body and soul. Oh, snap! And now it's time for
Caption that.
All right. Speaking of Body and Soul, we are just the biggest Body and Soul fans here. We may have to do the Body and Soul Awards next year as well. The Dishin Body and Soul Awards next year. Another night of an award show.
Can you imagine like an
like
award show just for Body and Soul?
No, thank you.
Well, that idea is out there. Anyway, this week it comes courtesy of Body and Soul with Lauren Koslow and Terrell Ransom Jr. and their Body and Soul characters. And this week's caption goes to Ash Allen on Twitter with his caption, honestly, do I look like the type of woman who would be held captive on a fishing boat and chop heads off fish twice?
Cute.
Yeah.
No, but yes.
I'm laughing
I thought it was cute.
At fishes.
That was a cute caption.
Yeah. I'm laughing at
Twice.
fishes. Twice. Fishes.
Twice.
Fishes. And that was
Caption that.
And now it's time for
Those were the days.
Oh, this one's my favorite.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm taking you guys back to an iconic moment, July 4th, 2000, where we had the infamous Last Blast Dance that will go down as one of the best teen scenes that Days has ever had. But I'm taking you to July 4th, 2000, where we had sort of Chloe's, it uses in quotation marks, coming out, where she went from Ghoul Girl to showing all of her beauty and body and letting people know exactly who she was.
Body.
And this iconic red dress that Days has now a thing with red dresses. I think it started from this. We've seen the red dress on Kristen. We've seen it in other places, but yeah, it started here with Chloe on that dance, sort of coming out of her shell, so to speak, and yeah, sort of reclaiming who she was. So yeah,
what a tale as old as time. I don't like you. Oh wait, you're actually pretty. Now I'm in love with you.
Mm-hmm.
Let me take off these glasses that I've been wearing for the last 8 months.
Tale as old as time.
Yes.
I still remember seeing this.
It's what matters underneath, folks.
And I thought to myself, oh, y'all couldn't tell that she was hot.
I know, right? Yeah, the classic.
Yeah. I mean, her eyes, come on.
Mm-hmm. But this was like everything. I love when she was just standing there like all Ghoul Girl out, and then she was just like, shoo,
Yes.
shoo, bam.
Yes.
That's how I live every day. The reveal.
I'm still waiting for her to curse someone.
Oh.
Those were the days.
And now it's time for
It's a gift.
And this week's It's a GIF goes to a master class in acting, which is not even moving, not even saying anything. Mr. Abe Carver with the tears down the cheeks. This is what acting is, folks. Mr. James
It's
Reynolds.
so dark.
Yeah, it's really,
I know, it's okay.
yeah,
Mr. James Reynolds, a bow down.
Yes. It was, and it's, I mean, the one teardrop, no one does it like Lisa Rinna.
All because Kim Richards returned her bunny.
But kudos to James Reynolds because that silence, there was a lot of pain in that. And that I could put it back up. I'll tell you what he's saying. Someone help me.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I think I know what he's saying. Hang on. Do you know what he's saying?
What is he saying?
She's never made me a home-cooked meal.
Tie these damn fish sticks.
I'm tired of Trader Joe's frozen dinners.
Well, no, at least those are the good ones.
Yeah, no, those are the good ones. Let's not go that far.
Which ones?
She's getting food store or what?
Yeah, she's getting like, the back of the supermarket store. Those
I'm tired of eating expired groceries.
I cannot with. We'll play.
You know, Whitley's in the back of the store. He's picking out. Ooh, this Lipton looks good. Okay.
I feel like I feel like you need to post that and put that as a caption. That
not the Lipton, not the Lipton.
I'm done. I had a moment of inspiration. Now it's past.
And that was.
It's a gift.
And now it's time for.
That should be our next post.
What?
News and gossip.
Before we get to the news, that should be our next post. What do you think Whitley is feeding Abe?
What? What's on the menu?
What's on the menu?
I'm just saying.
No, here we go.
I'm trying to think how to make that a post. Like what? I'll think about that. Like, what do you think?
What are the specials at Whitley's Diner?
Yeah.
Like what are some of Whitley Keen's special recipes? And it has to be something crazy like ramen noodles and macaroni and cheese. Someone said cook spam.
Oh, spam is good. Don't be knocking spam. I love me some spam.
Okay, moving on to news. Starting off, we have a QQ video.
On my Lanta
page, yes, of Sal and Lamone playing what we're calling Beat the Hourglass, basically a trivia game. There's going to be two, I'm guessing. This week was Lamone quizzing Sal on sort of their shared Days history and Sal's Days history in general. And yeah, go check it out. It's a fun video. Their chemistry is undeniable, and to see how much Sal remembers about her storylines and how much she got right. So yeah. And I think next week we'll do the reverse of. Her,
I just love having them back. There's something about having them on the show that just feels right. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like it just feels right. Maybe it's because we've had them on the show a lot, or maybe it's just because I don't know, but there's definitely been a what do you want to call it? A void that they felt they felt.
There's a certain energy and a certain just so many different stories. I mean, they use Sal for everything. I mean, she was always a part of something, and then she finally got with Eli. It was it's been a really good run. So yeah, I understand what you mean, Michael Mattis. They're just two very talented people that we miss. So.
And they also fit into the core families.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They're also, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Didn't we come up with this name?
Huh?
Beat the hourglass. Why didn't we come up with this?
I don't know. I mean, we came
We're
up with so
busy.
many
We have
others.
lives.
Yeah.
Besides our, you know why? Because our hourglass is an hour. Ain't nobody trying to beat an hour.
This is true. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we have the latest episode of the Freddie and Alyssa show from Ex Sunny Kyriakis, Mr. Freddie Smith himself. On the latest episode, he answered some burning questions from fans about his time on Days of Our Lives in the latest Q&A of their podcast. Be sure to check out the video on his YouTube channel, Freddie and Alyssa. There's a lot of stuff about pay and taxes and such and such.
Yeah.
Really interesting. From my perspective, it was interesting.
Check it out.
Yes. And next up, we have congratulations are in order for the lovely Ashley Benson, who, if you remember, played Abigail Devereaux between 2004 and 2007. I think she was this is when they sourced Abigail.
Or the first older Abigail, yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. Yeah. This is when we sort of got her and Chelsea and Stephanie as a quad. And yeah, so big congrats to Ashley. She's gone on and done some interesting, amazing things. So if you don't remember, she's probably been on a TV show or a movie since then, since she's left Days. But yeah, so big congrats to Ashley and her fiance, Brandon Davis. So, yeah.
All right, next up, we've got a lot of fan events coming up. So let's start off with the Starstruck fan events in Morristown, New Jersey. That will be what? Wait, hold on.
Next year, April 13th through 14th,
yes,
2024.
April 13th through 14th. I'm sorry, they're out of order. So let me say this is don't be blue because you missed us last time. April 13th through 14th, 2024 in Morristown, New Jersey. Let's see who we got. We got Emily O'Brien, we got Peter Port, we got Stacey Hyduke, we got Paul Telfer. Got some goodies there. There will be the Starstruck's Got Talent Take 3 celebrating love of soaps. That's going to be with music, karaoke, Vincent Irizarry, the Divas of Daytime, our very own Casita Paiva, along with Bobby Eakes and Kathy, I forget her last name, Aiden Turner. So this is kind of like an All My Children reunion. If anybody wants to go and check that out, if you happen to be in Franklin, Tennessee next February, check that out. And then we have the Yesterdays with a twist in our very own backyard here in LA. This is coming up. This will be this year, November 10th, 2023, from 6 to 10. That will be here. We've got Vincent Irizarry, we've got Jordi Villasuso, True and Casey. We haven't seen them in a while. Got Marie Wilson, Darbo, John Paul Lavoisier, Gregory Zarian, Lindsay Hartley, Brody Hunsler, J.D. Peck. So it's a lot of that's like that. We're reaching far back into with our favorites there. So it's like this is a lot of information here. So if you want more details and you want to go and see them, go to starstruckfanevents.com. And again, as Tony says, if you're in the vicinity, not if you're just in the town, but if you're like an hour away, and you're never going to see these people again.
Like
please.
if you're
Just
going,
go.
like if you're shopping, if you're shopping at Mathis Brothers in Ontario, come on down.
Just
But
go.
wait,
The
aren't we
shade.
going to see you tomorrow?
It's a fun
Huh?
night. It's look,
Inside
people always have fun at these events.
You just got it.
Did you just get it?
You just got it.
I was
I
like,
get it. I'm not going to pretend to. Just go. Okay, if you're in the state, just go.
Next up, we have some anniversaries we want to shout out. First one is Eric Martzoff, who is celebrating 21 years on daytime television, not just Days of Our Lives. For those Passions fans, he took over the role of Ethan Crane back in, I have it here, July 7th, actually, 2002, and did a big run on the end of that show, and then came over to Days in November of 2008. Has racked up a considerable amount of episodes. I think he's done well over 1,600 at this point. So just a really nice way to cap off 21 years going from Passions to Days and still on it. And yeah, so big congrats to Eric. And next up, we have Miss Raven Bowens, who took to Instagram to celebrate her 2-year anniversary of playing Chanel. Go check out her post. She wrote a really sweet post just about being grateful and thankful for this character and her experiences on Days. And just going strong, and she's happy, and yeah, so go check it out. So yeah, big congrats to Raven, who's done 2 years on the show and 179 episodes, I think, which is, once you see the numbers, it kind of like, it's jarring a bit, because you're like, oh, that's a lot.
I mean, she's been front burner, so
years, for 2 years to be less than 200,
yes, love her. And next up, we have, guys, Christmas is not canceled. This is the charity started by our very own Jen Lilly. She created this, and it's called, and right now they're going with Camp Christmas. You can go to the website and donate to enter and win a slew of cool prizes and experience. This is benefiting child help and comfort cases. Yes. So if you go on their website, you can pick like different packages of, okay, you can donate a certain amount of pajama sets, of school bags, things like that, for helping benefiting child help and comfort cases. So please go on to the website christmasisnotcanceled.com right now.
And that was
News and gossip.
And now it's time to find out what's happening this week on Peacock's Days of Our Lives.
It's time for me to finally make a choice.
Let's hope like hell she chooses me.
You need to fire Detective Brady over there.
You were drinking on the job, and you have been sleeping with your subordinate. Ow!
You and I, we have a daughter. Your father is alive.
Days of Our Lives.
Oh.
Okay.
Now this is what I've been waiting for.
Well, you got to get to this week in order to get to the next. Well, it looks like it's going to be a good week, y'all. And we'll be back here next Sunday to give you a full recap and discussion on what's coming up this week on Days of Our Lives. But before we head out, that's been our show, y'all. Thank you so much for tuning into our extra special long show. But before we go,
extended
Michael
version.
Mattis.
Yeah.
Where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter and Threads, but I don't really go on there yet, at ML Mattis.
And Justin Lee Harold.
Find me on Instagram at Justin Lee Harold.
That's it. Just Instagram?
Leave the boy alone.
Every week.
Don't be acting like your Wi-Fi has you frozen. Araceli, welcome to social media. Where can they find you on your multiple platforms?
You can find me only on Instagram and Twitter at Tia323Araceli.
That's fine. We appreciate that. You can find me at Lounging with Tony on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Threads. Make sure you check me out. And you can find us on social media platforms, all of us. Dishin Days show on Facebook, Dishin Days on Instagram, Twitter, and the Threads, even though we still learning Threads. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. We will see you back here next Sunday for another full dish of this week's episodes of Peacock's exclusive #1 award-winning hit soap opera, Days of Our Lives. And thank you so much to Miranda Wilson for joining us today. We hope that you all enjoyed the interview. Until next week, have a wonderful week. Enjoy yourself. Get some rest. And we'll see you in 1 week. Bye, y'all.
Bye.